welcome back to my channel. I'm coming at you today with my May monthly favorites. This is all the stuff I was absolutely loving in the past month. Pretty much all of these are like old products. None of this is like a new launch. These are just things that I kind of rediscovered and just was really loving on in the past month. Before we get into my favorites, please do like and subscribe. It helps me out so much. I am a small growing channel and any support I can get is much appreciated. All right, let's get into the goods. First up are these beautiful eyeshadow duos from Oric. I have no idea why it took me so long to try these. These are very up my alley. In case you don't know already, Oric is the brand of a YouTube creator, Samantha Ravindal, who was very popular in like the classic days of beauty YouTube. And I think she's done a beautiful job with the brand. They have pretty sparse releases, but they seem to be very well thought out. One thing Sam has done with the brand Auric is kind of like recreate and put her spin on some of her favorite products made by other brands. They're not dupes in any way. They're all like a little bit different, but you can tell what they were kind of modeled after. And these duos are clearly inspired by the discontinued Tom Ford powder and cream eyeshadow duos. I was a big fan of the Tom Ford duos like this, and personally, I think these are even better than the Tom Ford ones. So the concept of these is that they have a cream shadow here on the bottom, so you screw off the top and you get this beautiful, like kind of whipped feeling cream shadow, and then you open the lid and you've got this powder glitter topper type of shade. So they're meant to be layered, so you're meant to do the cream shadow first and then just kind of tap the glitter on top. And that's how I like to use these. You can also use these separate if you want. I will say the formulas of both of the products work beautifully together. You can just tell that they were designed to go together. The glitter on top is not like the most glossy looking, like wet sparkle I've ever seen, but the texture that it has just really plays well with the cream shadow. In my opinion, the cream shadow in these Auric duos is just as good as the Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Mesmerize and the discontinued Tom Ford cream shadows, which is saying a lot because those are two of my favorite eyeshadow products of all time. I might actually go to say that I like the cream shadow in this even more than the Charlotte Tilbury. And that is primarily because of the lasting power in the shades they offer. The lasting power on these Oric cream shadows is a lot better than the Charlotte Tilbury. These do not crease at all, and I've worn these for like full 12-hour days. I have two shades in this product. I have Temper and Defiance. Temper is described online as a rose gold, but I actually think it's a lot more like a rosy bronze shade. And then the topper on top is like a really pretty rosy gold. And then Defiance has a really warm brown, chocolatey cream shadow with like a bright white gold glitter on top. Personally, I am using Temper the most out of these two. If you are familiar with the Tom Ford duos, Defiance is a pretty spot-on dupe for Tom Ford Naked Bronze. You might think that Temper is going to be a dupe for Golden Peach, but it is not. It is much more neutral and bronzy in tone than Golden Peach. These look so chic and elegant on the eyes and just give you that really beautiful done yet undone quality. A base product that I really loved in the month of May is my trusty TULA Tinted Primer. This is the TULA Filter Primer Blurring and Moisturizing Primer. This is one of those products that comes out white but has little pigment adjusting particles that kind of give you a tint to your skin. Let me be clear, this is not a skin tint, it's not a tinted moisturizer. It really is a blurring, moisturizing primer, very slight hint of tint. This is not going to actually cover anything. What this does do is gives you a beautiful, smooth, hydrated base to your skin and just a teeny bit of tint that just sort of evens everything out. I really like this for light makeup days when I know I don't want a lot of coverage, but I do want concealer. You know when you're in a rush and you only want a little bit of concealer on your face? But as you blend it, it's like the texture of the concealer doesn't match the texture of the rest of your skin. It just like sometimes feels like only using concealer can look less natural than concealer with a light foundation. So instead of using only concealer, I like to add this as my first step, and it really evens out the texture of my skin, evens out the tone, and then just gives my concealer something to stick to. And it gives you a very realistic, no makeup yet perfected look. And it's just so easy to apply. I just squirt some of this on my fingertips, rub it all over my face, let it sit for a minute, let it kind of sink in, and then go in with my concealer. I primarily use the shade Luna, which is the lightest shade they offer. I also have the shade Sunrise, which is for the medium one. But the tint on these is so slight and minimal that getting a perfect shade match isn't the most important thing. In May, if I wasn't using the TULA primer, I was probably using this foundation. This is the L'Oreal True Match, and it is one of my foundations across the board, not just at the drugstore. This is the foundation I recommend to all of my friends if they want something new, but they don't want to spend an arm and a leg. It's just incredibly forgiving and just so elegant in its formulation. This has a solid medium coverage. It can be built up to close to full, but not all the way full in my opinion. It has a really beautiful soft satin finish that looks very skin-like and natural. And it's so incredibly thin in texture that it feels like you have nothing on your face. It's really beautiful in blurring, and the lasting power is amazing. I do have one gripe, which is that the shades are just kind of off throughout the range. They have cool, neutral, and warm. I typically go for a neutral undertone. This foundation runs so yellow that I actually have to use the cool undertone. Even the neutral is very yellow. I use C3 in the winter and C4 in the summer. This is a gorgeous foundation for anyone, especially those who don't want to spend Sephora prices. Another eyeshadow I've been loving this month is this one from DECORTE. This is their Eye Glow Gem Skin Shadow in the shade Cinnamon Tan. I've got a couple of these cream shadows from DECORTE. I hadn't fallen in love with any of them, but I think it was mostly because of the shade. As with most Asian brands, the swatches online are just seriously lacking in these shadows. So it can be really hard to figure out what shade you want. They also have 1,000 shades in this product, but I'm very glad I ended up with Cinnamon Tan. This is my perfect no makeup eyeshadow. I think like a lot of us last year, I was introduced to the concept of contrast levels in makeup. I have medium contrast because I have darker eyes, darker brows, darker hair, a lighter skin. And I find that when I'm wearing no makeup, I still need a little bit of something on my eyes just to balance my face out. I think with a lot of people, the first thing they'll drop if they don't have a lot of time to do their makeup is going to be eyeshadow. And as much as I would like that, I just don't feel right without a little bit of something on my eyes. Even if it's just some like bronzer thrown in the crease, just something to kind of bring back that contrast around my eyes to balance my face. Anyways, this eyeshadow is that. It's the perfect shade. It's just a couple shades deeper than my skin tone, and it's this really yummy caramely brown with some really subtle shimmer in it that just kind of makes your eyelids look like creamy and like a little wet without having any actual glitter in it. So yeah, the shade is beautiful. The formula is this very interesting, very like bouncy, kind of like whipped putty almost. It's very satisfying to touch. It's very squishy. This is like lighter and moussier than a ColourPop Super Shock Shadow, but a very similar concept. These blend incredibly easily with just your fingers. You need no brushes with this. You can literally just squish it on your eyes and it'll look good. Another eyeshadow that I really loved in the past month is this matte cream eyeshadow from IT Cosmetics. This is their Superhero No Tug Shadow Stick in the shade Bare and Brave. I have been pairing this with both the DECORTE Shadow and Auric Temper as sort of like a base all over the lid. This is one of the best matte cream eyeshadow sticks I've tried. So many eyeshadow sticks are hard to blend, will blend out patchy, dry too quickly, are like sticky. There's just a lot that can go wrong in an eyeshadow stick, but these ones from IT Cosmetics just completely blow it out of the park. This shade Bare and Brave is my perfect my eyelids but better, if that's even a thing. It's like a light pinky peachy taupe that is like one shade deeper than my eyelids. Barely shows up at all, honestly. Like it's very close to my skin tone, just a hint darker. So it evens out all of the pigmentation on my lids and just adds a little bit of like definition with that pinky taupe shade. I find that this works beautifully as a base for pretty much any eyeshadow. Now that I'm looking at it, I'm pretty sure that this is a very similar shade to MAC Painterly Paint Pot. I use this in pretty much the same way that one would use a MAC paint pot. It's like a primer cream shadow 2-in-1. So these have been a very long time favorite. I just come back around to them every once in a while and like reappreciate them. It is the Naturium Phyto Glow Lip Balms. These are just so beautiful. They are unmatched in terms of the shine, like the juicy, smoothing shine these give your lips is just out of this world. Every time I come back across an old video of myself and I'm like, oh my God, my lips look so juicy and glossy. What was I wearing there? It's usually these. For the most part, a lip gloss is a lip gloss, but these give your lips just this like extra va-va-voom. I think it's because they're so smoothing because they're very thick. It glides over and fills in all of the lines in your lips to make them look extra plump and juicy. And because these are a lip balm, they're also hydrating your lips while you're wearing them, which is so nice. They have got a million shades in this product. I love so many of them. They come out with the best shades in this lip balm. At one point, I owned almost all of them. I have since decluttered some because I was just like, that is too much. The brand did send a couple of them to me, but for the most part, I purchased these myself. To be honest, I love all of the shades in this product, but I just grabbed a couple that I tend to reach for very often. Yeah, so here I have Jam, Crimson, and Strawberry. Jam looks very purple when you swatch it, but on the lips, it's actually just more of a like very soft kind of like veil of plum. Crimson is a beautiful blackened red, very similar to Clinique Black Honey, but a little bit more brown. Strawberry is my go-to in the summer. It's this beautiful Aperol Spritz pop of orangey red. It came from the line that has different scents, so it does smell like strawberry. The rest of these smell like vanilla. These are super affordable. I think they're $10. You can get these at Target, on Amazon, or on Naturium's website. I know some people have trouble getting the product out of the bottle. I do find that I have to squeeze these pretty hard. And the good thing is I've never had these explode because I was squeezing them too hard. That can happen sometimes, like there's like a blockage or something and you start squeezing it and then everything like shoots out. I've never had that happen with this. It's just like sometimes you gotta put a little elbow grease in. A lip liner that I've been reaching for a lot this month is this NABLA CUPIDS Stilo in the shade 1. These little sticks from NABLA are super cool because they are multi-purpose. You can use these as a matte cream shadow. You can apparently use them on your cheeks. I don't do that, but you can. And then you can use them as a lip liner. The shape of these is a little bit chubbier than your typical lip liner. They actually have a very similar shape to the Rhode Peptide lip shapes, but these are better. As a lip liner, this is one of the more budge-proof formulas I own. As a cream eyeshadow, it performs beautifully. It blends out super easily, is crease-proof, just absolutely fantastic. On my skin tone, this is such a beautiful light cool tone nude. Depending on how tan I am, it can verge on a little bit gray, but most of the year, it's just a really pretty, subtle, cool tone defining type of shade. It looks pretty warm swatched here, but on my lips, it looks pretty cool toned. This is definitely lighter than a lot of the lip liners that I enjoy, but I just find that something about that very, very subtle definition to the lips just makes them look extra juicy. You can get NABLA online at Ulta. They don't carry it in stores. You can also get from the NABLA website, but they are an Italian brand, so I think the shipping is a little bit weird. All right, so I got a hair care recommendation for you. I chopped all my hair off about a month ago into this little French bob sort of situation. I've been figuring out how to style it. I've been having a lot of fun figuring out a new haircut. Really, like a haircut is way more about the styling and the products that you use to style the haircut than the cut itself. This product is a game changer if you have bangs and or short hair. It is the R&CO Dry Shampoo Paste. As the name says, it's a dry shampoo paste. It's like a powder in a paste. Doesn't have the most pleasant texture, I'll say that. This stuff gives you the best like piecey texture to your hair, especially in the bangs. A little bit goes a very long way. Like this is all I will use for my bangs. So you take a little bit of the paste, warm it up, and it kind of like melts between your fingers. It is definitely like kind of a gritty texture. And then you can take it and just sort of like twist the bottom of your hair if you've got short hair or if you just really like that kind of piecey texture. I'll also take it and just like rub it in the roots of my hair wherever I want the most volume. So like I won't do it all right now, but like I will take it into all of the roots of my hair and like push my hair up. And lastly, for the bangs, I like to take a little bit of it and work it into both the roots and the end of the bangs to really give it that like kind of messiness. It also helps your bangs stay in place because you're kind of adding some grit and texture to it. I find that my bangs don't just like fall flat as fast as they usually do. This stuff is just the best if you like messy textured hair and like want to have some bend and like grit to your hair without it feeling really sticky. Okay, and my last favorite is TV show. I mentioned in my last monthly favorites that I was really, really loving The Pitt. Well, I finished The Pitt. There's only one season of it so far. And then after I finished The Pitt, I found out that the main character of The Pitt was on the show ER from back in the 90s. So it was only natural that I start ER after I finished The Pitt. And it is so good. It's basically the same show. So you have Dr. Robbie from The Pitt, but in ER, he's like the little medical student. George Clooney is also in it, and he is fantastic, charming and charismatic as always. It's just like all of the things that I love about The Pitt. Like it's empathetic, it is human, it's not focused on like the sex everybody is having. It feels just so real and raw at times. It can be a hard watch, to be honest. Like they tackle some pretty heavy stuff on that show. I'm binging it, like sometimes I have to take a break because I just get sad. But it's just such a good show, and there are 1 million seasons of it. And each season has a good 30 episodes. So I am set for the next couple of years of binge watching. All right, that is it for my May monthly favorites. I hope everybody had a great month. May 2025 was a really strong month for me. I just felt productive, I felt happy, I felt sparkly. It was just a good month, and I'm excited to carry that energy into June. Please do like and subscribe if you haven't already. I am still a small growing channel, and any support I can get is much appreciated. Bye y'all.